Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode of Real Talk. Hey guys, I am Adrian, joined by my co-host Daniel, and far away from us, Rob. So this is another episode of Real Talk here at On the Fence Movie Reviews, and we got some stuff to talk about. But first, I want to see how you doing, Rob. How you doing?
I am doing pretty good. Just it's Sunday, just watched some football and saw some teams win, some teams lose, some players crying. It got really emotional. Now I know who I'm gonna watch play while I eat some chicken and pizza for the Super Bowl. So that's about it.
Who you rooting for?
um
Or you couldn't care less?
I'm a Cowboys fan, so I could care less. Please don't
Uh,
send hate my way. But yes, I could care less. I just want to see a good game.
okay.
What about you, Adrian? What did you do today? Or how are
Nothing.
you? How are you doing? How's
I'm
that?
I'm doing good. I'm doing excellent. I went to work today, unfortunately, on my day
Well,
off.
that doesn't
But
that doesn't sound fun.
no, it was an emergency
Okay.
call,
Okay.
so I had to go and take care of it. But other than that, it's just been a pretty relaxed Sunday.
Well, that's good to hear. But I think the more important question is because we did not have him on last time. Daniel, how are you doing? And welcome back.
I'm doing great. I finally got the mics working, so
Nice, nice.
it's good to be back and join you guys. But yeah, just been chilling.
Cool.
Nice.
Uh, just was able to go back to work last week, so yeah.
Sounds
Cool.
sounds good.
Cool. So we got a new episode of WandaVision, and we get a little bit more information this week and a little bit more to peek behind the curtain. So, Rob, do you want to go ahead and talk about it? We'll talk about that first.
Yeah, sure. So I again enjoyed this episode of WandaVision. I feel again the curtain is being pulled back just a little bit. Oh, forewarning, this is
Spoilers.
spoiler talk. Again, spoiler talk about WandaVision. If you have not seen the episode, just bookmark this or save this for watch laters and then go watch it and come back and watch it. If you don't care about spoilers, then stay right there and enjoy my words that will be soothing your ears about WandaVision. I enjoyed WandaVision. This episode again, you're getting that throwback kind of feel for television. This was more again, I still say, I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched, but also now it felt a little Brady Bunchy.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that. It's again, you have the silly comedy of just little things that happen that it's like, well, why didn't you just do this? But it's supposed to be a TV show and things are oblivious. I thought it was funny. Excuse me. I thought it was funny when Wanda kept trying to get rid of the stork with her magic and
Oh yeah.
and it still was staying there. But we are starting to get more glimpses of not so much like the plot or like what's behind the curtain, but little things as far as like, is Wanda in control? Is she not? Or is someone
Yeah.
else in control and she has some type of ability in this world? There's little things like Vision says something to her and he's kind of like he steps back a little bit almost to be like, kind of like what's going on. He's not the Vision of the TV show. He's like, it seems like he's like a Vision realizing like what's going on, something's wrong. And Wanda just kind of, just erases that or stops that and switches it back
Yeah.
somehow. And there's little things like that. And also one thing I noticed, I didn't know if it was in the other two episodes. Typically it's kind of like your sitcom show for the first, I don't know, 15 minutes, and the last 5 to 7 minutes it gets a little serious and you start to get some spoilers, or not spoilers, but reveals into what is going on. But one thing I did notice, and again I would have to check the first two episodes, is in these the last few minutes, last 5 to 7 minutes, the laugh track kind of goes away and it gets
Yeah.
more serious with the music and the tone. So that's one thing I just kind of noticed on this episode, but overall I did enjoy it. There's more reveals at the end of the episode of kind of like something's going on. I don't know what, but I'm overall enjoying it, and now that they're trying to give us a little more, I'm kind of eating that and like, okay, what's going on here? What is this? So, but yeah, that's how I feel about it so far. Adrian and Danny, what do you guys think?
Um, I thought the episode was okay.
Okay.
Obviously I wasn't in last week's episode, so I didn't give my thoughts on how I felt about the show. Um, I mean, I the comedy's like okay, like
Okay.
it's not my cup of tea. So
Right.
like half of the time, this past episode I was kind of like how do you say, like dozing off, not like
Okay.
sleeping, but kind of like
Yeah, you're losing interest, kind of.
yeah, like I was like kind of on my phone because I knew at least like how I feel. It's like some of the comedy bits are not going to be part of the bigger story, so it's
Right.
like why am I going to even pay attention? Like how you said with the stork thing, I honestly wasn't really paying attention that much. Well, at least with the other character, where she was giving her story and all that
Right,
stuff,
right,
I
right.
honestly wasn't paying attention. Maybe that might come into play. But obviously, but from what they are giving us, they're giving us like little chunks here and there. But what it seems like what they're giving us is what it looks like is Wanda. This whole world is kind of Wanda's doing. Like
Okay.
she's she's obviously in control of what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and people that are in this world or whatever are kind of like trapped in there. I want to say.
Okay.
And that girl, I can't remember her name. The one like towards the end, that one that got I guess kicked out.
Yeah, the Wanda,
pretty
I
much.
think it's
Wanda,
Geraldine or something like
Wanda
that.
booted out.
Yeah,
I think her name was Geraldine or something.
I have
like
a
that,
feeling
yeah.
that she was there like to like infiltrate, and
Okay.
like she kind of like, and then got kicked out. Like you know what I mean? Like she was there to like because there seemed like there was like this bubble, like this little bubble, like when she
Right,
got kicked
right.
out.
Yeah.
Like
And you know what? That's sorry to interrupt, but like when you're talking about that bubble, when she kind of plays out, it kind of reminds me of like on Guardians of the Galaxy when like when they do like those like the space jump, when they jump through like several different like
Oh, okay, yeah. When they're like, when they're
space, yeah, the way
yeah,
the
yeah.
way just the way it looked. I'm not saying that's tied to
Okay.
that in any way, but like it just kind of looked like that. So I don't know if it's some sort of realm.
yeah,
Okay.
so like I feel like this whole thing is all like Wanda's doing. Like this is like
Yeah.
all like her world, and I feel like she's I guess her way of grieving over because remember he dies, Vision.
Right, right.
So I think she's like creating her own world pretty much.
Okay.
And that's a very real possibility. And actually, I forgot to. And it's funny that you mentioned that because I forgot to mention it on the last video that we did for the first 2 episodes. My thought was, especially given like the whole voice over on the radio, like Wanda, who's doing this to you, who's doing this to you, Wanda, is that like Wanda is the main character in this story, and it's her story and arc. And I think that's the issue is like what you said. It's either her own doing or somebody's doing it to her, and like kind of like what you guys were saying is like that sword logo, because we
Right,
saw
right.
it in the second episode where the guy's climbing out of the sewer manhole. He has the logo on his back, and then she kind of was like no, and then it rewinds
Right, right.
and it goes back to it. And then same thing here where I believe the character's name is Geraldine, who's talking to her, and she goes, "Oh, your brother, he was killed by Ultron, wasn't he?" And she's like, "What did you say? Why did you say that?" Or whatever. And then when Vision comes back and says, "Hey, what happened to Geraldine?" The look on Wanda's face, like, "Oh, she had to leave," is almost like kind of like a smirk, almost like she knows what happened to her. Like she was the one, like kind of what you're saying is she's the one who did it. Like she's the one who tossed it, and like what you're saying is like there's this maybe this organization trying to infiltrate possibly Wanda's mind or Wanda, like wherever Wanda is, and anytime she realizes it, she kind of pushes it out and forces it out, and kind of trying to make a world that fits what, like kind of like what you're saying, making her grieve, but like making her feel better about it and feel better about their situation. But again, overall, the episodes, I'm not in love with them. It's like kind of like on their own, they're kind of like meh, you know,
Yeah,
because some of those jokes don't like, you know, they're not quite as funny or as good as these classic episodes. And he's
Right.
like, I'm only here because I know there's something more to it, and I
Exactly.
really want
Yeah.
to see what Wanda's story is and how Vision is tied into it. And oh, and I forgot to mention, what's the neighbor's name? Herb and Agnes,
Yeah.
when they're kind of right there, and he's just kind of like almost like zombie like, where he's just kind of cutting through the wall, and
Yeah.
he's talking to Agnes later, and then, well, who's Geraldine? Well, she's from, or she's here because of, I forget how he's repeating himself, and then
Right.
Agnes
Right.
stops him and basically kind of like telling him like shut up, and then like, all right, see you later. And then it was kind of like this weird thing. So we're getting the peak about like, okay, there's
Right.
something going on. People are trying to probably infiltrate this whole area. Now, where Vision fits in all this, I don't know, because again, we know he's dead. Now, is this like some sort of like supernatural realm where there's like, I don't know, like a spirit or something? I don't know. But like, how does that all tie in? I don't know. But again, my overall feeling is that the show is okay, but like at the same time, I'm really only tuning in because I really want to see what actually happens to it. You know, what actually
Yeah.
happens to Wanda. What's the rest of it? You know?
See, and I actually I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, compare it to I Love Lucy, or those few legendary television shows
Yeah.
of early time. But I do enjoy it. I'm not gonna say I'm there, because I know it's gonna tie into the MCU somehow. I'm enjoying these shows for what they are. I feel like it's something different that the MCU is giving us. And I honestly feel like at some point we're gonna get more backstory, because they do mention her brother. I want to say Peter, but it's like Petro, right?
Pedro.
Yeah, Petro.
Petro.
I I've
Quicksilver.
yeah, Quicksilver, yes. I feel like we're gonna get some of Wanda's backstory, and we didn't,
Yeah.
they kind of scrape on it a little in the movies,
And
but
you know, and that's maybe like what you're saying, like with the brother and the backstory, and then
right,
maybe that's also with like the with the twins. I don't know, like why
right.
she had twins. Like there's like, okay, I had a brother and like all this stuff, right? And
Right. So I just think that I'm enjoying it because we're getting characters that were kind of side characters, for a while, and they weren't like the Avengers. I even remember, I forgot. I think it was the end of Ultron. I remember seeing it with my friend, and he was just kind of like at the end of Age of Ultron, when it's kind of like they walk up and they're going to be like the new Avengers. And I remember one of my friends being like, "Oh, it's like the B Squad." But yeah, I'm kind of glad to see something different. I like something different, even if it's
yeah,
not everyone's cup of tea. I'm still enjoying it, um, but I honestly, what I think is I feel like Wanda, maybe this is just, I've heard this nowhere. I'm just throwing this out of my head because I thought about it. Maybe Wanda watched old school TV shows when she was younger, and it's something that made her happy. And in this time of grief, because we all know, again, Vision's dead. Maybe it's
yeah,
something that she like. I'm building this world where this is this is. I remember being happy watching these shows, and I'm gonna make my world this show, and then like you're saying, maybe people are trying to get into her to mentally get in there and figure out what's going on. And she breaks. You could tell at the end of every episode, there's a little breakdown from Wanda because she loses control somehow. And
yeah.
so I don't know how that's going to work in, but I'm enjoying the show. Again, I know they're going to be tied into the bigger picture, but I'm enjoying this little kind of like, I don't think it's going to be series is going to go for, more than maybe a couple of seasons, if that, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I think it will probably just continue until we get to the multiverse of madness with
Right.
Doctor Strange.
Right.
But after that, I think they'll kind of segue her out, because that was the thing I was thinking about. Is like, how can you continue or maintain this type of story without really, and I don't see it going on for more than a season or two, and it's just kind of,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not hating on it. It's just, I know there's more, and so it's like I kind of like, I want more. And like what you're saying, I appreciate what they're trying to do.
Right.
It's something different, so I appreciate that and I applaud that. It's just like, if I'm judging each episode on their own, I'm not fully loving them.
Okay.
I think this series itself may have served better if if it was all the entire season was released all at once
Right.
rather than week to week, because there's not, for me honestly, they're not giving me enough to talk about.
Okay.
Like, it's like, so it's like to have it week to week, it's like kind of like, oh yeah, there was that one part, but that was it. Like, it's nothing like shocker, like, oh my god, did you see that? I mean, if you want to say the ending of this third episode was kind of a like, oh okay, what was that all about? But it's not something that I'm gonna carry on a conversation for more
Right.
than, like, 5 minutes, and then kind of go on.
Yeah, I
But
understand.
like I said, it's just like, if I think it would have served better if the entire season, because then I would have binge watched it and then would have gotten to what I was really looking for. Because each week I'm kind of like, I'm excited to see it because I want to, but find out what's going on. But it's not like, oh, that was an amazing episode, let me go
Mhm.
tell all my friends about it. It's just kind of, I don't know. That's just how I feel about it.
No, we just decided to start a YouTube channel and talk about it.
Yeah, for more than 5 minutes, like what I was saying. I'm contradicting myself.
Exactly.
We just share our thoughts.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Why don't you give us your thoughts on WandaVision? Are you loving what you're seeing? Are you really into it or not feeling it? And what do you think's going on in this whole world that Wanda is in? Now we got some other news. Christopher Nolan and HBO, or not HBO, Warner Brothers
Warner Brothers.
are having a little issues and may need to go to some marriage counseling. They look like they may be breaking up soon. According to an article in Wall Street Journal, they had mentioned that Christopher Nolan was very unhappy with the whole HBO plan of, or Warner Brothers plan of dropping all their movies this year on HBO Max, rather than, well, they are releasing it in theaters, but releasing them all on the same day, and he's not happy. So he may possibly be headed on his way out, due to a source close to the situation. So, Rob, what are your thoughts on Christopher Nolan possibly severing ties with Warner Brothers?
Well, here's the thing, Adrian, is I'm the source close to the situation, and I'm just playing. I am just playing. So it's a sad thing if they do part ways, because I feel like, Nolan has always been with Warner Brothers, and they put out some awesome movies together, and but at the same time, Nolan still, it's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah,
People are gonna give him, whatever he wants to make his movies, because his movies are epic theatrical release experiences.
yeah,
But I understand where he's coming from, because as excited as I am to be a movie fan and have stuff that should be released in theaters come to a streaming service that I have, pretty much, I'm not gonna have to go to the theater ever again, which I love going to theater. So, if
yeah,
I can, I will. But um, I can understand why he's upset, because HBO Max did this, and they didn't, from what I read and heard, they didn't go to other movie studios and other companies that they have investments with, as far as these movies, and be like, hey, we're thinking about doing this. From what I've read, they just were like, hey, we're gonna throw all our theatrical release movies that were supposed to come in theaters, they're going on HBO Max, and you don't have to pay anything extra for them. And then that was kind of news to the other movie studios and stuff. So I feel like, I understand Nolan being upset and wanting to kind of cut ties with them for that reason. I hope they don't, because they have a long history together and making good movies together. So I hope they can work something out to where, I feel like, in a way, HBO Max kind of tried to smooth things out with the movie studios by releasing, also saying like, hey, we're gonna release these movies also in theater too, as well as on HBO Max, because I mean, I guess that's something. But I don't know. I mean, I understand. I've said it before. Like, I understand movie studios and like WB and HBO Max, and them trying to find some way to get their money in this tough time. And
yeah,
but I also understand Nolan, because he's got movies coming out, and these movies are gonna make money, and that's people's pockets you're messing with, their wallets you're messing with when it comes to stuff like this, and their livelihood. So I understand both sides. Just I'm not gonna say this person's right or the company's wrong,
Yeah.
they're right. It's a crappy situation to be in, and I feel like everyone's trying to do what's best for them, and I don't know. I just hope things get worked out.
Yeah, it's some sad things that are going on, recently
Right.
with the whole theaters, going under and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like everyone's put in a tough situation, so like, Warner Brothers, they have this stockpile of movies that they pretty much have, that they've been sitting on,
Right.
and it's like they can't just hold on to them forever. They gotta turn some sort of profit or something. And like you said, you kind of understand both situations, like both people. I understand Nolan's situation. He made these movies for the theaters, for people to experience them in the theaters. They weren't meant to to come out in home. What do you call it? Home video, whatever. I'm just interested to see where he's gonna go after this, if they do in fact break up, because it does seem like a lot of studios are heading the same way. At least a lot of the big studios, that like Universal, Disney, and Warner Brothers, and they have big pockets. So it's like I don't know who's gonna help him produce all these movies if he does.
Yeah.
Like he can't really go. I can't see him going independent. I mean, so it's like,
Yeah.
wanting to make the movies that he wants to tell, with a smaller budget.
I mean, yeah, I guess like kind of what you guys are saying that but he's the filmmaker about the experience. He's all about preservation, right? And so he's invested in a lot, and he's also a guy who shoots his movies on film, prefers them to be projected that way. So he's all about film projection over digital projection. So he's kind of an old school kind of guy. He prefers all those things, and so to hear that Warner Brothers, and from what I read, it was the CEO of Warner Brothers, his decision solely on making this move and dropping everything on HBO, and basically kept everybody else in the dark and just threw it out there. And it, like what you're saying, it was news to everybody else. That really set off Nolan and was like, "What are you doing here? We're trying to save an industry, not kill it." And
Right.
and he's coming at it from that perspective, is that doing this is going to hurt the movie theater industry and filmmaking in general, because I mean, let's be honest, movies aren't going to make as much money going to a streamer than they are in theaters. So I can see why Nolan is feeling the way he is, but on the flip side, like what you guys are saying, Warner Brothers and HBO are looking at the bottom line here. It's like, this is the way of the future. Streaming is where it's at. And, we need to jump on that. And we have a streaming service that isn't doing as well as the other ones. So we need to just jump on it and get people so that they can commit to our service, and that we can. So they're playing the long game. So it's
Right.
like kind of like, if we get people here and we do this and we're really successful at it, we're going to keep more subscribers and earn that revenue that way. And honestly, it's kind of like, so I see both sides of it, but again, you guys know this, and I'm really, coming from the exhibitor industry, having worked there, I'm always going to be on that side of like, we need to save theaters and cinemas, those are jobs, but also the experience, that communal experience. I mean, think about it. Watching Avengers Endgame, and that moment that you see on YouTube and people constantly post it, where Cap picks up the hammer and people lose their mind.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing watching it at home on your 65-inch with the surround sound by yourself. Like, it's just not, And
Very true, very
so I
true.
think that's what we're trying to preserve here, is that experience of these things. We just saw the Kong, or the Godzilla versus Kong trailer. Being in an audience, seeing those big action sequences or these big moments, and with other people, the experience is on another level.
Yes.
And I think that's what we're trying to preserve here. And So I could see both sides of it, but at the same time, I'm leaning more towards Nolan's side. Now, again, what you're saying, what studio is he going to go to? It's going to be kind of like this. Everybody's going to roll out the red carpet and and try to woo him and say sign a deal with our, much like what they did with Tarantino when he left Weinstein Company for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was just doing jumping through hoops and all that trying to get Tarantino to sign with them because Tarantino is a viable name. He's one of the few directors that if you throw his name on there, people are going to go watch his films. And Sony ended up winning out. So I don't know. Could he go to Paramount or Universal or even Disney? That would be an interesting move to see Nolan do one of his types of films with the Disney budget. That would be a very interesting thing to see.
Yeah, or even like an Amazon or Netflix could throw like I highly doubt he would go to Netflix.
That is basically him like breaking up with Warner Brothers to do what he's breaking up with them for. Like,
yeah.
So I doubt that would happen.
I highly doubt that would happen. But I know Amazon, even though they are a streaming service, they do have theatrical release movies. So yeah, I honestly, I mean, it's Nolan. People are, like you're saying, they're gonna roll out the red carpet for him. I hope Warner Brothers and Nolan can work something out. And hey, if Warner Brothers just comes back like, hey, we're sorry we did this. We won't do it again. Please forgive us, Nolan. And
Valentine's Day is coming up around the corner, so they could get them a box of chocolates and some flowers roses, and say we're sorry.
Yes, some roses and chocolates and a little note saying, "Dear Nolan, we miss you."
Well, guys, what are your thoughts on Nolan possibly leaving Warner Brothers? Do you feel like this near 20-year-old relationship is going to crumble, or can they salvage what has been broken? Anyways, guys, those are our topics. I know it's a bit of a short episode, but if you have anything to say about WandaVision or the whole Nolan Warner Brothers issue, don't forget to click or comment down below and let us know what your thoughts are. Or if there's a topic you guys would like for us to cover, why don't you put those in the comments as well and let us know what they are, and we'll see if we can cover them. Also, don't forget to click like, subscribe, share with all of your friends, and follow us on Instagram at On The Fence Movie Reviews.
And remember, we'll catch you on the fence.